Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Kate. Today I would like to share with you a hashtag inspired card. Let's get started. So to kick things off, these are the products I will be working with. We've got a little Whimsy, we've got a little Let's Get Lizicle, and we've got a little bit of PhotoPlay. So trying to figure out how I wanted to stamp out and die cut this string from the Let's Get Lizicle balloon set. I kind of struggled with it because the die isn't open ended, if you know what I mean, and it was kind of hard to see where everything was going to line up. So you could do this either way. So you could stamp it out and then die cut it, or die cut it and then stamp it. Either or, if that makes sense. So I've gone ahead and stamped it, and I'd already die cut what I thought was going to be the string, so I die cut it, and then I thought maybe I could stamp on top of it, but then I kind of panicked, and it was like, I'm not going to get this lined up properly. So what I've done is I've just cut out the negative, or the positive, or whatever you will, and I'm just kind of using it as a template. So I'm just going to tape everybody down, that way I can get myself a perfect die cut string for our balloon, the one in the corner that we're not going to use. So once we've got that out there, you can go ahead and take that out, Kate, with your pokey tool. And yeah, I just end up dropping it and it falls out anyway. So we have got this guy right here, the little keyhole from Whimsy, and I've cut out a little keyhole from the PhotoPlay paper that I had gotten when I'd gone to the Scrap Fest. So I ended up meeting Liz from Let's Get Lizicle in, I think it was Kitchener, Waterloo area, and they had a big scrap fest and all sorts of fun people were there. I got to see a Paper Crafters Workshop crew, I got to see Glitter and Ink crew, and I got to see, what was it, Glitter and Ink? I can't remember. They're up in Belleville. Their name is just totally eluding me right now. But I also got to meet Rhea for the first time from Scrap and Stamp, as well as Allison, and it was too funny. So Liz and I were doing our rounds, doing the outer loop, and then we were going to go to the inner loop, and then we were going to break for lunch, and then come back and then do another round. So once we had gotten to this Scrap and Stamp, I was just so excited that everything just zapped right out of my brain because I'd never met Rhea and Allison in real life before. I've only corresponded with them online and through chat messages. And it was just kind of like my brain totally farted out everything that I could possibly know in my knowledge in my brain. And I had to lean over to Liz and say, what is the name of the store that I'm part of Scrap Team? And what, I just, and she just kind of looked at me and giggled. It's like, are you okay? And it's like, no, I'm too excited. So I got to meet Rhea and Allison, and it was absolutely wonderful. Again, you know, like going to see all those people from the stores that I've shopped at or dealt with is always a treat. The Paper Crafter Workshop crew, of course, I like seeing them. I've got to go to their store before up in Stouffville, and you know, they're just all great sort of bunch. It's so neat to go to something like that and just meet other crafters. I mean, if you have the opportunity to go to a scrap fest where there's going to be lots of stores and lots of people, I highly recommend it. It's like watching that video, the music video for Blind Melon's No Rain. You've got this sad little bumblebee walking around and, you know, not sure what to do, and then all of a sudden she sees a field full of bumblebees, like people in costume kind of thing, and she's all happy and stuff. And that's kind of how I felt, as corny as it sounds. But it was a treat to be able to meet Liz and Rhea and all of them in person. So yeah, I can't get enough of Liz's products. I do get quite a bit of use out of this happy birthday die. I didn't quite like the pattern paper that I used for it, so what we're going to do here is very carefully not use the pokey tool with the little picker-upper sticker thingy, and we're just going to use our fingers. And I'm going to use some of this black vinyl paper, which I don't know, for some reason I love it. It soothes my dark little heart, and I love the contrast and the shininess of it. That with that velvet stickity paper that I have. But we're just going to go over these letters, which I'm fine with because it actually gives it just a little bit more dimension, which I do like to do with this particular die. This is like my go-to happy birthday die for all of my birthday cards, it seems. It kind of replaced like a few stamped sentiment dies. It's even got a smaller version of it, which I've used in other cards if you've been watching my channel for a minute. And I will say, if you guys are interested, I'll let you in on a little tidbit of information, but Let's Get Lizicle has a new release coming out July 20th. So, not going to say any more. I'm just really excited to share with you what I've created with it. So, make sure you like and subscribe and all that fun stuff so you could stay tuned because I'm going to be posting a video the week of the release, and it is just so cute. I absolutely love it. So we are going to add a little bit of glue to the base here so we could plop on that happy birthday. And the original happy birthday that I put on this, I actually lost the little tittle, which is fine. You don't really notice the difference in depth with it, so I'm very carefully taking that little eye dot, the tittle, and just kind of plopping it on there, and it just kind of makes everything cohesive, and I don't need to use like a gem or anything. So we've got this string for the balloon, and we're going to add some glue to it, and I've kind of eyeballed where I want the happy birthday. I'll end up gluing that down in a minute, but I want to make sure that the tail end of it is covered by the happy, and then the balloon can cover the top of it so it looks like it's just floating there. And I'm not loving that part with the skull. I do like the skull, but I'm not loving it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restamp it. So we're going to use the skull from the Whimsy Stamp, which I really wanted to use the one from the new release, but mum's the word, and I had to go with the Whimsy Stamp. So we're going to grab the little skull here, and we're going to grab some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which, thank you Inky and Scrappy for finally coaxing me to get this, because this one is a game changer. It's not meant for coloring with, and I do find in a minute here it ends up bleeding just slightly when I come in with something else, which I'm not going to ruin for you. But I don't know, for what it's worth, it's a really rich dark ink, and I find that I don't have to double stamp too often. So here is what I'm talking about. So we've got some Distress ink pens for embossing, and I don't use these that often, and I wish I would, because you could do so much with these things. Like, you could draw out whatever your heart's content and then add your embossing powder, which here I'm using clear, so that way you get the black. You can use the black, but I wanted to make sure that I covered that skull with the embossing powder, because we're going to come back in with the stencil that goes with the heart, or with the balloon set, and then just do a little bit of inking. Now you could just color it in with your alcohol markers, but using the embossing powder with alcohol markers is not recommended. You could do watercolor, but I did not use watercolor for this paper, so we're just going to go ahead and use the Lawn Fawn ink for this. So once that all heat embossed, we are going to take the stencil, we're going to take a little bit of washi tape to hold everybody down so it doesn't shift, and then we're going to grab some of our apricot, or apricot, however you say it, and we're just going to kind of go over it lightly. I don't want anything too saturated like the one above, because I felt it was kind of lost. I just wanted a little bit of color, just to add a hint, to kind of go in with the skulls. So once we've got that, we're going to grab our glaze pen in black, and I'm going to darken up that line. I kind of wish I would have used the Onyx Black ink for that, but I think I ended up using ink on 3. I don't know why. I knew I wasn't going to be Copic coloring, but I think it's just old habits die hard. So we've got the happy birthday cut out. And I've added a little bit of foam tape to the middle of the happy birthday, so that way it doesn't sink in when I put it over top of the keyhole. Now I've gone ahead and, like, as you've seen earlier, I've added a bunch of foam tape to the back of that keyhole panel, so it gives you a little bit more dimension, and I just really love how it turned out. I like the keyhole die because you could use it as a keyhole or you could use it as a potion bottle, which I thought was pretty neat. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've done, I think I posted it. I don't know. Might be up. I don't know. It's been a minute. I apologize for being away so long. Just, there's only one of me and there's only so much one can do. I really want to do all the things, but doing all the things is hard when you don't have a cloning device and you can't clone yourself to do all the things. So yeah, there's just one of me, and I'm trying really hard to not spread myself too thin, but so we're just going to add a little bit of foam tape to the back side of this heart-shaped balloon, just so it's kind of level with the rest of the dimension in the card. And if you'll forgive me here, I'm just going to fiddle a little bit more. I don't need this much, but you know, sometimes I'm a little overzealous with how much foam tape I actually use. So we're just going to snip that off so that doesn't get seen on the outside. And we're going to tear off the foam tape release tape. And then we're going to add some glue because I like to double stick. So we'll add a few dots there. And then we will grab our tweezers and figure out the proper way to hold them. And then we're going to add that in there. So I'm going to try and line it up as best as I can and then give that a good mash down. So once we've got that, we're going to come back in with our black glazed jelly roll pen. And I'm just going to give the eyeballs to all of the little skulls just a little bit of a swoosh for dimension. And I like how the shine comes through. It kind of is cohesive with the shiny in the black and kind of ties the card together. Just instead of just having the shiny black cardstock, then you've got this little added shine that kind of ties it all in together. And then I decide, okay, let's add a few dots. So I'm careful not to smudge anything, and I only add dots to the outside panel. I kind of want to have a slight contrast between the foreground and the background, so I'm only putting dots on the foreground, if that makes sense. So once I'm happy with the amount of dots, in a second here, you'll see, I end up finishing off the card as is, put it on a card base, and here you go. Let me know what you think in the comments below if this is something that you would try. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.